Hey guys, Rob Phoenix, Powwow guy here. I just wanted to pop in, say hello. Hope you're all doing well. I know I don't do a lot of powwow videos anymore. I did one recently about the Hexameister Grimoire, but um, this video I wanted to kind of take an opportunity to say that there is a lot more to me than just powwow. As I get older, I realize that I don't want to just become one thing. So, I'm some people know I'm an accountant. That's my career. I'm also a dad and love spending time with my son. And a dog owner. We have three dogs right now. Uh, but I also, one thing, ever since I was about 12 years old, I've played Dungeons and Dragons. If you don't know what Dungeons and Dragons is, it's just a role-playing game. Um, Sorry about the dogs. Welcome to my world. Uh, that I started playing when I was around 12 with just a bunch of other kids. We were all like the misfit kids. We didn't really have any friends, but we had each other and we were all sort of like nerds or whatever. And we just played D&D. And I just remember, I don't really remember like the particulars of us playing back then. I just remember being so excited that I felt like I had friends, and we were at my friend Joey's house and his mom was like fussing around us the whole time, like getting us juice or whatever, or snacks, or she made cookies or whatever. I can't really remember. It was like 38 years ago, um, but there was just something fun about it and just something really exciting and thrilling about being around people. Uh, Shared this interest in this sort of fantasy world. And they made me feel welcome and they were my friends. And, outside of that, I don't think I spoke to them even in school. I'm not sure that we spoke to each other, but when we played Dungeons and Dragons, it was it was good. So I grew up playing it and things change over the years. Like I'd go through periods of my life where I wasn't playing it and then I'd play it again. And my ex, um, that I was with for 13 and a half years, he was very much into it. And so we played a lot. Um, and I'm playing again. I have a group that I am the dungeon master for, and I got Bill interested in playing, and Josani has just played his first game last weekend, so super proud dad moment. But what are we playing right now? What we're playing is, and there's tons of videos about this online. The Curse of Strahd. Um, I've always loved the Ravenloft world setting in Dungeons and Dragons because it's like gothic horror. It's like kind of Victorian, I guess. Vampires, and there are other adventures that were made over time. Um, it's initially based off of like the setting of Dracula, like the Bram Stoker Dracula, but it was made in the early 80s. But then there are other adventures that are kind of like reminiscent of like Jack the Ripper and Frankenstein and the Mummy and such, uh, but in sort of a fantasy world setting. Super fun. Um, this new Curse of Strahd, countless videos that I've watched on YouTube about people who are just singing its praises. It's just the best thing ever, and they just love it, and it's so much fun. They play it dozens of times. I think the Curse of Strahd, the whole revamped, all the different places they go and the situations that the characters find themselves in are stupid. I mean, there's very that I actually care for in the Curse of Strahd campaign. So it's called Curse of Strahd Revamped. So I'm revamping it to make it more playable for my group. I'm changing a lot just because there's so much stupidity in it. It's just dumb. I mean, the encounters are stupid. There's this, I don't know. I'm changing it, I'm improving it and making it my own. And that's kind of what you're supposed to do in D&D. So, and I also do not like fifth. This is for what's called fifth edition. I do not like fifth edition. I grew up playing the original Dungeons and Dragons, and I still have um they came out with a lot of box sets back then. I still have them. Look, this original Dungeons and Dragons Player's Manual, Dungeon Master, uh, all these original box sets that came with player books, Master Player's book. Look at that. Just the old school. There's an old Dragonlance. Then they came out with something called Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, which cleaned it up, fixed up D&D a lot. So I really like Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. Here's an old Dragonlance one. And then they came out with Advanced Dungeons and Dragons second edition. And that's where most of my playing took place. So like my player's handbook is just Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. And the Dungeon Master Guide I use is Advanced Dungeons and Dragons second edition. They work totally fine together. So that's what my group plays is Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, a combination of its first edition and second edition. And there you go. I don't care for the new, like when third edition came out, it didn't feel like D&D to me. It was just so different. It was just so like alien and foreign to me, and I didn't like it. And I tried to learn it, and I just didn't like it. It just was not the same. I felt like it was a totally different game, and I didn't like it. Fourth edition, I don't even think I noticed it. I I don't even know if I saw any fourth edition books. All I know is by then they were pounding out new books for everything. And like in order to play, you'd have to have like dozens and dozens of books at $50 a pop. Like, no, that lost the spirit of the game for me. D&D is just a you know, bunch of misfits sitting around a table with paper, pencil, dice, soda, maybe a snack. Um, and just having fun and like just imagining and drawing a map and just having exciting like combat and such. But it became this huge like money industry where you have all these books at $50 each, and it's like then they came out with fifth editions. Well, come on, it's enough now. And so this Curse of Strahd, of course, I was interested because I grew up playing in the Ravenloft setting, and whoever was the dungeon master at the time, like when I was a teenager, it was, after hang out with my friend Joey and all the other guys that were there, then I started going to my sister's boyfriend at the time. They were older than me, and he, I was part of his dungeon master group or D&D group, and it was fun, but we were always in Ravenloft, and I loved that. I loved the whole idea of it. So I grew up really playing Ravenloft. Um, in the 90s, like with my ex, we did a lot of Forgotten Realms. We did a lot of Dragonlance, but we always came back to Ravenloft. And so when Curse of Strahd came out, I thought, that's awesome. And I read through it and I just think, that's garbage. Like it's just dumb. Like every little thing is stupid. So anyway, I've changed it. I've changed Barovia. I created a city back in like the 90s uh, that I've been playing ever since. And I added that city to Barovia in the northwest corner of Barovia. And I added a couple little of my own villages and towns just to like kind of flesh it out. Also, I've made Barovia larger because it's basically like 10 miles by 10 miles. It's too small. So I fleshed it out with more people, more villages, more towns, a city, and I changed the storylines in Curse of Strahd to make sense, to like fit the setting. So anyway, that's what I do. But I've always been like that. I'm the kid that got well, I wasn't really a kid, but a couple of years ago, I got the Lego Death Star for Christmas. And I got it all together and I realized every section of the Lego Death Star is a scene from Star Wars A New Hope. But, when they're on the Death Star. And I thought, well, that really limits what you can do. Like, who cares about the trash compactor? You know what I mean? Just so I gutted the Death Star and I started adding to it, removing walls, putting different walls in. I built a chamber for Darth Vader and I put a Bacta tank in there and his meditation thing. So anyway, I made it my own. I made it better. I made it cool, uh, to my liking. So anyway, that's what you should do if you're going to get the Curse of Strahd. Actually, if you want to play in Ravenloft, but you don't want to play fifth edition, or if you're like me and you think that all the things are dumb, like monsters made out of giant crab arms and such, like where are they getting these things? They had these like monsters pieced together, like half his head is a lion, the other half's a tiger, his right arm's a big crab claw, his left arm is like a shark fin, he has a tail. Where are they getting these things from? They're getting these pieces. Barovia is walled off, and there's no ocean. So I don't know. Just didn't make sense. It was just dumb. So I took that part out. Anyway, that's my rant, I guess, about the Curse of Strahd. So for me, again, I'm not just the powwow guy. There's a lot of other things in my life that are interesting to me. Um, and even a couple of years ago, Josani, I've made an agreement with Josani that he wanted an instrument for the school orchestra. I said you have to see it through for 1 year, and then you can decide if you don't want to play it. He chose violin, so now there's a violin sitting here that's not being played, and I thought I might, I don't know, learn to play it a little bit. We'll see about that, but yeah. So there we go. So if anybody wants to talk Dungeons and Dragons, I'm up for it. I was thinking of starting to make a couple of videos about D&D here and there. I asked Josani if he wanted to do this one with me, and he said maybe another time. He's 13 now. It's okay. But anyway, and our group has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people in it. So that's a pretty big group. There's another person who would like to join our group, and I have to consider it because I just literally don't have more space at my table. So we're trying to figure out, like, can I, as the dungeon master, be at we have like a counter that goes between our dining room and our kitchen. It's just a countertop, like a bar. Like if I sat there and everybody else sat around the table, I'd still be able to see the table. So we're gonna experiment with that a little bit. But it gets pretty crowded in there. So yeah, don't go crazy if you're starting a Dungeons and Dragons group, because you really have to figure out, do I have space for this many people? um, anyway, that's all I had to say tonight. It was a lot. I know, I'm sorry. But this is something else I'm passionate about, something I really like and enjoy. And I hope some of you out there are as interested in it as I am, and maybe we can have a conversation. So that's all. Stay tuned. Maybe I'll make some more powwow videos eventually, or D&D videos. I don't know what I'm doing, just trying to make some changes in life. So that's it. God bless you guys. Love you. Talk to you soon.